As a daily bike commuter and as someone who makes videos about cycling here on YouTube, I often get asked the question, how do I get all my stuff to work? So I decided to make this video dedicated to answering your guys' questions. I'm going to be talking about the bags that I use to get all of my stuff to work every day. And I actually have a nice little collection of a few different bags, mainly backpacks, that I use to carry my stuff, some small, some big, some waterproof, some not. And I want to talk about the advantages and disadvantages to each one. I don't think there is a one bag solution that solves everything. There's advantages and disadvantages to all different types of bags. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about backpacks and bags and how to carry all of your important stuff to get it to work with you. In general today, we won't be talking about a bike packing kind of setup. That's a whole separate issue. I don't do a bike packing setup for bike commuting. Anyway, I'm about to run out of space here on the cycling path here. So we're going to continue this discussion back in the studio where I can show you guys all of my different bags. Right now, I've got my nice little small bag on, so I think we'll start with that one. Check back in the studio. All right guys, here we are back in the studio. I've got all of my backpacks ready to show you guys, and I'm ready to talk about all the advantages and disadvantages of each one. Before we do that though, I want to first mention why I prefer using a backpack as my main method of bringing my stuff to work for bike commuting and stuff. So different people have different preferences. I know a lot of people really like using pannier bags. I do have a set myself, but one thing I don't like about pannier bags is they usually require you have some sort of rack on your bike so that you can put them on. And there's lots of racks available now, and that's great. But the problem I have with this is if you need to switch bikes like last minute, you might need to switch to a bike where you don't have a rack on it, and then you're dependent on your pannier bags and you're not used to using another solutions. So that's one of the main reasons I really like using backpacks over pannier bags, is because you can use them on any bike. And if you're used to using a backpack every day, it doesn't matter. You can switch another bike, no problem. And people who are daily bike commuters really know all of your time is really precious, and every little tiny mistake adds up and wastes a little bit more time, and you risk being late to work. So I like the backpack just because of its simplicity, and you can use it in any situation, so there's no problem. And you don't have to deal with the extra weight of having a rack on your bike. And if you like using your bike on normal rides and not just as a commuter bike, it's great in that sense. And I mainly use all of my main bikes as my normal cycling bikes and also as my bike commuting bikes. So anyway, that's my long story short on why I prefer using backpacks. So let's go ahead and get started and introduce some of my different backpacks I have here. All of the bags that I'll be introducing today, except for one, are bags that I've bought myself with my own money. One of them was given to me by a person who runs a bag company, and he's a fan of the channel from the UK. I'll talk about that later when we get to that bag. But first, let's go ahead and go with this guy. So this is a platypus bag. And when I talk about the bags in today's video, I'm going to talk more about the materials and type of the bags themselves rather than the brands that they are. So you don't necessarily need to get the same brand that I did, but you can look for a similar type of bag, and there's all different types of price points for these. So keep that in mind as we go through today's videos. I don't have any particular favor towards platypus bags or anything like that, but one thing I really like about this bag though is it's really lightweight and just made of really light materials. It's got a lot of breathability. And it's got a lot of different, what's the correct term, modular system. So it's got a bunch of different pockets all over the place that are really handy. It's got a nice bag here out in the bag. So it's got a nice sort of open bag section here in the back. So if I need to put big things in here, like an extra pair of shoes, a bunch of food, a giant bottle of water or something like that, I can use this in a whole bunch of different ways, and it's really useful to stay like organized. I've got a small pocket out here in the front. I can put my phone in here. I can keep some valuables in here. I keep generally 2 Wheel Cruise stickers in here just in case I meet a fan out in the wild. So if you ever see me out on the streets or something, you live in Japan, say, "Hey, Cruise," and I'll give you a sticker. If you're interested in getting a sticker on your own, I'll link down below how you can get one for yourself. I normally would give them away for free, but it's a bit much with the international shipping, so I try not to charge too much for those. And when I first got this bag, it also came with a bladder, so you can use the hydration system. I completely got rid of that. I have no need for that. I'm fine with just using normal water bottles. So I believe this bike was more intended for like longer rides or like mountain biking. That's why it's designed to be really light and carry a whole bunch of stuff. So you can carry your tools in here. You can carry your water bladder. You can carry, I carry my work stuff in here, my folders, my books and stuff like that. Even my tiny little laptop can fit in here. So there's just a lot of different compartmentalization. You can be really organized with this bag. And I love these little side straps as well. I don't always use these side straps to wrap around you. It's a little bit too snug sometimes, but if you don't like your bag moving too much, you have the option of tying these around you. It keeps the bag a little bit more secure, which is really good if you want to change the position on longer routes. But overall, I really love this bag. It's one of my favorite bags. I've had this for over 10 years, and it's just been really durable, really solid, and overall, I can't say too many things I don't like about this bag. It's red. Everyone knows that red is a fast color. There are 2 disadvantages with this bag though, and all of the bags that I'm going through in this list are going to have some sort of disadvantage in some certain situation. There is no perfect backpack for bike commuting, and the 2 main disadvantages for this one though is its size. So sometimes I need to carry more stuff to work, especially on Mondays and Fridays. Those are the days that I carry most of my stuff to work and back home for the weekend and the new week. So sometimes when I have a larger load or I need to carry some bigger items, it doesn't quite fit in this bag. So that is one disadvantage for those situations. The other disadvantage is on rainy days, and it rains a lot here in Japan. So you could get a cover for the bag, but I find that covers don't work the greatest. Another option is you can keep some bags in here. You can keep some smaller bags in here. For example, I always keep like a plastic Ziploc bag in here just in case it rains unexpectedly. I can put my like valuable electronics in there, my wallet in there, so those things don't get wet. Highly recommended. They don't take up any space. They don't have any weight. I recommend you always keep some sort of smaller plastic bags in your backpack. But yeah, these are the 2 main disadvantages of this bag: size for large loads and waterproof, which perfectly leads me into my next bag I want to show you guys. So here we go. This is my Beast Commuter bag. This one was given to me by the owner and creator of Cadence, which is a company based out of the UK. So this is the only bag out of all the bags I'll show you guys today that I did not pay for with my own money. This one was given to me. He's a fan of the channel. He gave this to me about over a year ago, and I've been using this regularly for the last year, and I've really enjoyed it, and I've been really happy to have received this because this thing is great. It is massive. I don't remember exactly how many liters this is, but I can fit so much stuff in here. It's completely different style than the other bag, and I love the face it makes when you open it like this. So completely different style. You can see it's just completely open inside here. There is a sleeve so you can put your like laptop in there, and then there is one netted section so you can put some smaller valuables in there. So it's mainly 3 compartments and this outside zipper here. I never use this outside zipper though because the whole bag is supposed to be waterproof, but there is some water that gets in here just a little bit, but it's enough to the point where I don't really want to put anything in there. So I just use the 3 points inside, and the style of putting your stuff in here is completely different. So if I'm just throwing a whole bunch of clothes in there for the week, my lunch and stuff, and it doesn't really need to be too organized, it's perfect. But on the other hand, sometimes it's nice having like a specific little compartment for your phone, and you don't really have that with this bag, so everything kind of gets mixed together. So there is a disadvantage with that. Also, the larger size, like when you commute with a larger bag like this, you're going to have a bit more wind resistance. It's generally going to be heavier. The materials on this are definitely heavier than the other bag. And the other disadvantage is because this is a waterproof design, you can't really get anything out of your bag unless you completely open it, and then you expose like all of your stuff to the rain. So there are disadvantages and advantages to this bike as well. I do like the yellow color, the visibility. It's really nice. I feel a lot safer with this. It's got some reflective parts on here. The breathability on the backside is also really nice. The straps are a bit bigger, more cushiony than the other ones, and the straps are really well designed. Really nice cushion system back here, breathability. Even though this bag is bigger and heavier, it feels really comfortable, and I've used this on long rides, and it's done a really good job. It's got some different straps on here so you can hook some different things on here if you need, like your keys, and of course it's also got the straps on the sides and the bottom so you can prevent it from moving all over the place. So the way this actually closes, and this is the same with most waterproof bags, is you roll it down like this, and then you got the strap like that. So once this is closed, you can't really get anything out unless you completely open it, and it's the same entrance for every part. So it's good for fitting a lot of stuff in here, but at the same time, it's not as great if you want to separate your stuff a little bit and only access one piece really easily, which is nice with the more sort of modular style bags. This thing has really saved me this last year. I've never had a commuting bag this big, and it's a bit much if you use it every single day, I think, especially if you carry a lot of stuff. So that's why I like to mix it up between the bags so the position isn't always the same with the straps on the shoulder, the weight on the shoulder. So I find that using different bags throughout the week, so like rotating every other day depending on the weather or something, if you have 2 main bags, that can help so much with reducing the stress from the weight on your shoulders, because the stress point changes from the position and style of the bag. So anyway, for any dedicated daily bike commuters, you definitely need a fully waterproof bag in your arsenal. It will change your life. This thing has been a lifesaver. Before I got that bike, I was actually using this sort of regular style backpack. This is a super dry Japan Outdoor. So the thing that's great about backpacks is you don't need like cycling specific backpacks. You can just use whatever bag you have lying around. And I bought this in Vietnam when I was traveling there before I met my wife, who is Vietnamese. A lot of you guys know. And this is also the waterproof design here. So you can see it's got the one entrance system just like the other one. And this one's not quite as big as the other one. And the strap is a little bit more simpler. It's just got a buckle here. And this was really great, but at the same time, one thing I really disliked about this system was you can see there's no cushion in the back, there's no ventilation system, there's no straps here to keep it comfortable on your back. So if you've got some awkward items or hard items like a bento box or lunch box in your, or water bottle inside here, it could be pushing onto your back. And this was really uncomfortable. These straps were really thin, so this was good for keeping my stuff dry, but at the same time, it was super uncomfortable. There's no straps to lock in from the side, so there is a lot more movement with this. And this was just not a great solution while I was using it. So since I've gotten the new yellow craft Cadence bag, I haven't used this in over a year, but it was a great bag while I was using it, and it was really cheap. Anyone who's been to one of the big cities in Vietnam knows you'll see all these different sports shops with all these different bags, and they're really cheap and generally good quality. There might be knockoffs, but they're generally 90% as good as the original quality, I find. Another style bag that I've used in the past has been the sort of messenger style bag. So this is a Timbuk2. Solid black. I've also had this bag for over 10 years. These bags are pretty pricey. They're definitely on the pricey end, but you definitely get much more bang for your buck over the time. Like, you can buy a cheap bag that only lasts for a couple years and it's not very comfortable, or you can spend a little bit extra money and you can get really good utility out of this bag. This bag has been really great. It's not the most comfortable bag for long commutes because all the weight just goes on one shoulder. But if you have a short commute, this thing is really nice and sufficient. You can change the position around, so it doesn't always have to be in your left shoulder. You can put it on the right shoulder. So depending on your work situation, you might want to have a bit more of a professional looking backpack. If you go into work with a fully like bright yellow backpack or bright red backpack, it might not give the best impressions in certain work environments. So when I used to work at a university, this was my bag of choice when I was commuting. It was a shorter distance commute, but this bag definitely helped me fit in a little bit more with the university, like teacher, professor kind of look. And so that's one of the nice things about going with a black bag. But there is less visibility, of course. So from a safety standpoint, it is nice to go with the brighter colors if you don't mind standing out a little bit when you get to work. And you can see the inside of this bag is getting a little bit rough. I mean, this bag has been used over 10 years, but it's still fully functional. It's mostly waterproof. Except for there's a few open areas. It doesn't completely seal, so it's not 100% waterproof, but I found that most of my stuff doesn't get wet in here. This bag also kind of mixes the advantages and disadvantages of the previous red and yellow bags that I showed you, is that there is one main container section on the inside, so you can fit a bunch of larger items in there, but there are some different levels for different sections here where you can put different items in here and stay a bit more organized, which has been really useful. That's one of the things I've really liked about this bag. But yeah, overall this bag is really professional, really easy to work with, really well designed, but not the greatest bag for longer commutes or if you're carrying some heavier luggage because you put all that weight on one shoulder. But a really solid bag I'm glad to have in my arsenal that I do use occasionally when I go on my shorter routes. I also used this as my grocery bag for a while when I first moved to Japan because this was the largest bag I had. And this was not fun to carry a heavy load of groceries in here. If you put a large bag of rice in here, this thing was just, it would kill my shoulders when I got home. So not the greatest for heavy loads. Another important factor that you need to consider when you're thinking about which backpack to get for bike commuting is how much stuff you need to carry every day. So it really helps if you can minimize the amount of stuff that you need to bring every day. Like if you don't need to bring your lunchbox every day, if you don't need to bring clothes every day, you have a change of clothes at work and you just basically need to ride to work and you can change with the clothes from your locker there. You have everything there ready to go. It's best to just commute without any backpack at all, or just get something super light. Like, I don't remember the official name of these types of bags, but these are super light, super minimal. So if you just need to carry a few little accessories, you can put them in here. And it's not the most comfortable strap in the world, especially these small strings, so the heavier this bag gets, the more uncomfortable it's going to get on you. But if you're just carrying a few items, these things are super collapsible. They get really small, really lightweight, so you can put these in your other larger bags if you need to carry something extra unexpectedly, or you can just fit them in your jersey pocket if you don't need it. So I recommend always carrying an extra little bag inside of your larger bags, just in case. You never know if you might need those. There's one other style of bag that people might consider, and that is the cycling musette bag. And this honestly is not a great solution, especially for longer commutes, because this thing is really impractical. It's, again, a one shoulder style system bag, and it kind of gets in your way and doesn't always stay in the back. But if you're just going for a short commute, or you need to pick up something from like the grocery store, just a few little items, it's nice in that sense because it's, again, foldable. But these are more so intended in like race environments where you hold it out for the food feed and then the athletes come by, they quickly grab it, put it on, grab the food that they need, and toss it and get rid of it. So I don't really recommend getting one of these for the purpose of carrying stuff around. But if you're interested in helping support the Tool Cruise channel, you can get your very own Tool Cruise musette bag. I think we only have about 5 to 10 more of these left. So if you're interested, let me know. Contact me at toolcruise@gmail.com. Again, these are really cheap. The biggest part of the expense is just the international shipping itself. But if you're interested, let me know and send me an email and we'll get you taken care of. And you can get your very own beautiful Tool Cruise neon t-shirt here. I'll leave the links down below to our t-shirt shop in case you're interested in getting one for yourself. Anyway guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. Before you go, be sure to let me know down in the comments what backpack that you use for your bike commuting, or if you don't like using a backpack, what solution do you like to carry all your stuff to work? Let me know. I love reading your guys' comments and stories about your different bike commuting experiences. Also, be sure to let me know if you have any other questions you'd like me to go over in a future video, maybe something else about bike commuting or cycling in general. And even if I'm not able to make a video about it, I generally try to answer every question that I can in the comments down below. So be sure to comment down below, and also don't forget to like the video. It really helps support the channel. And we'll see you guys next time here on Tool Cruise.